Talk to me about Without, which I loved.
It's probably one of the most intimate projects I've ever done.
It's poignant.
Yeah, I
With Danielle Aleman.
yeah,
Daniela
she's great. And
Macalino.
Cassandra Perez.
Who's that girl right there?
That's Daniela Alman.
Aleman.
Alaman. And then Cassandra Perez is the other character in the film. And then yeah, so I just
Whose house is it?
That was my mother's house.
Oh, nice.
My mom, yeah. So it's weird. So let me get a little serious here for a second.
Sure.
You guys obviously know my stepdad had a stroke in September of 2021. And there was a point in time, my sister, myself, my mom, and even my stepdad were he liked writing, but my mom, my sister, and I are artists. Like, my sister teaches art. My mom, like, I got into art because of like my grandparents, my family, and all that.
Nice.
And like my sister and I could not, for the life of us, like create art while it was going on. So it was just kind of like, it just, we felt, so I didn't really try to do it. I was recording, the podcast about mental health and arts during that. And that was a nice, I think, grieving stage to like talk about stuff.
Sure.
But I wasn't really writing anything. So I ended up one day just, I don't know, it was, and also my stepdad had a stroke, and then at the same time, like, I found out my wife was pregnant. So like, there's just these wave of emotions, because you obviously you're scared and excited about being a father, and you're happy, but you're also like, this might sound stupid, but I was like afraid to be happy, like around my mom and stepdad, because they're in the thick of it, honestly. So I just, one Saturday, I think I just sat down and I wrote. I just was writing. I went, to my couch, chilled, went back an hour, like revised it. I printed it, I showed my wife it, and she like started crying. She's like, threw it at me. She's like, "Why'd you have to make me cry?" Like, I was like, "Well, that's
it's good."
Yeah, no, I was like, that's a good thing. So, we ended up filming it in one day at my mom's house, which is, I guess the irony of that or something. But it's just dealing with grief. The character I wrote and produced it. Andrew shot it. He directed it. And this was the most, like I said, probably it's, who knows? I don't want to speak about any future projects because I don't even know what they are yet. But to date, this is like my most personal one.
I could tell.
Yeah. So, and I was, like you mentioned earlier, I like doing comedies. I think I don't want to say comedies are easy, because they're not. If they're not funny, then obviously they're not easy. I think acting in comedies are easier because I think like if you take things very, very seriously in a comedy, they come off even funnier.
Yeah. Yes.
There's been 3 films in my acting career that's been a challenge, and this was one of them. And they're all dramas, actions, and all that. So, but this one, like I said, I was very blunt with the actress, with Daniela and Cassandra, about what this film is and what I'm trying to get across. And I think Daniela was a phenomenal scene partner. We sat out there probably like, 4 or 5 hours, and that's like the bulk of it, and just sitting and talking. And she I don't want to tell her story either, but she was going through stuff as well. Yes. So she was nominated like on an online festival. She was nominated for it. I think personally, any festival we do end up getting in, I think she should be nominated. I'm being biased, but I think if she was nominated over anybody else, like I wouldn't be like, I wouldn't. It's like when Katie won for Little Did She Know, like how can I be angry that like a character I wrote and casted, and Katie brought it to life. Like I can't be angry at that, So
but they also have to do the job.
Yes. And she was great. The rehearsing in person is a lot tougher, I guess, these days. I think when you're working on something bigger, you do need to rehearse in person. But her and I rehearsed virtually 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
And
virtually?
Just because I think it's just easier.
Okay.
But yeah, it was just dealing with grief. I don't want to explain too much of it because it will kind of give most of it away. Eventually I would like to put it online, but yeah, I'm really proud of this one.
Yeah, you should be.
A lot of people's reaction have been the same, which is great. So